What's going on, everyone? Welcome. This is the Warehouse Series. Guys, thanks for joining in. If you are brand new, please subscribe to the channel. I am a few away from 6,000 subscribers. Happy about that. Over 1,000 members over on Discord that are helping you out become a better selector, and that is free. That link is in the description below. Now, today I want to talk about 5 things that are slowing you down in the warehouse, and they're not the obvious. They're things that you don't think about. So, guys, when you think about what is slowing you down in the warehouse, you think about these. You think about talking, you think about going to break early, coming back late. You think about not wrapping when needed. All right, your load's a little shaky, you just don't want to take the time to wrap it, and then all of a sudden your pallet falls over, so now it's even more of a mess. Throwing on the same side of the aisle you're selecting on is very crucial. Learning a system within your probation weeks, and touching cases too many times once you have the cases on the pallet. So these are the obvious. Now I want to get to 5 that are not so obvious. All right, so the first one I want to talk about is stacking towers, and this is something that I do see people do in the warehouse, and someone just posted a bunch of pictures on Discord, so I'm not calling you out, but I just definitely want to address this. Stacking towers is something that is definitely going to slow you down because you're going to start finessing your jack, and it's not going to be that fluid motion that you need when selecting in the warehouse. And this is what I'm talking about. So there's a few things I want to say here. So I don't even care if I threw this paper towel and I had maybe 4 cases on here. If I get all these, I told you guys, I'm not afraid to move cases to make a solid base, especially on my base. I would have used these as a base, and if they are cases that have a gap at the top of the box where they could crush, use a slip sheet. All right, put a slip sheet down. Plus, you got to know your cases. We have all these big boxes that are not going to crush inside of these cases. The only thing that would really crush is something with weight. So if you have all light cases coming, this would have made the perfect base. Because when you stack a tower like this, you start finessing your jack. So me personally, either one side of the pallet, I would have stacked these on, or I would have used them as a full base and then started stacking on top of it. Another thing I want to say is in the middle of your pallet, keep this case flat. This case should have been flat, mostly on here with a little bit hanging into the gap, and then these little cases would have fit on there better. Because I want to tell you something, even though this is a big heavy corner, these cases in this gap, enough of them are going to push this over without a doubt. It's amazing what little cases and gaps could do. It will push this whole column over. So definitely you do not want to do this because it's going to be a problem. And your only option when that tire starts shaking around is trying to throw some wrap on it. And the problem that comes with this is 2 things. One, when you wrap from a high to a low, you tend to really pull everything towards this column. And you can see the shelf right here. So when you wrap, even if you wrap light, it is going to start pulling these back cases. Whatever little gaps you had between this case and the back case is going to condense. So you're going to lose cube, you're going to lose stacking surface area. And the second problem is you get this web on when you come down from this tall thing, you get a web. So now you got to sit there and play around with the shrink wrap to put cases behind it. And it just makes a problem, and it definitely slows you down. So I am not a fan of stacking towers like this. All right, guys, the second thing is it's something that I'm stealing off of Sticky Oxtail. We talked about this in our interview. If you did not see my interview with Sticky Oxtail, go check that out. I've done quite a few interviews. I understand they're lengthy. They're with between 30 to 40 minutes, but they are definitely something that is a learning experience for everybody because you get to know what people are doing in different warehouses and different settings, guys, and that's finessing the cases. New employees especially, they just like finesse that case and they're afraid to damage it. Guys, we're not saying slam the boxes to the point that you're damaging the product, but definitely stop finessing the cases. All right, be a little, like he said, to own the case, be a little rough with the case, especially if it's a lighter box that you can't really damage the product inside. And the other with this finessing cases is also second picking level. With the case hook, my new employees that I used to train in the warehouse would take the case hook and they would sit there and just, and then they finally get the case down. Guys, pull that shit down, all right? You do not want to waste time hooking those cases. Now, if they're fragile items, yes, take your time and pull them down. Like salad dressings pop open. I'm not case hooking salad dressings in an aggressive manner, but if it's lighter boxes like Pop-Tarts or anything that is not going to break, I can hook that and get it down as soon as possible, I'm going to do that. So don't finesse the cases when you're actually grabbing them, and don't finesse the cases when you're case hooking them if they are light and not going to break open. Guys, this is one of the most important. This is something where, especially new selectors, and that is finding the quickest route in your warehouse. It is amazing how many people will drive all over the place. Now, I want to tell you right now, at the beginning of my order, when I pick up my labels and I hear what aisle I start in, and I hear the part of the aisle I start in, I might not be starting at the beginning of the aisle, I might be starting towards the end of the aisle. I'm already mapping out what's the quickest way to get to that location. And when I'm almost done picking in the warehouse, I told you we could say how much more in our warehouse, and it'll tell us how many cases are left. Well, the other thing I'm doing is when I have like 5 cases left and I know where I'm ending at, okay, what's the quickest route to get to the dock door that I'm going to? And I just wanted to show a little map of this right here. So let's first off say we're almost done with our order. We're in the back of the warehouse. Now I'm going to say this is my dry goods building. This side right here, I'm going to this dock door right here, okay? And this side is very congested. This whole area is congested because we enter the warehouse over here. So not only are you going to get the jack area and you're going to get people coming in and out of the jack area because they're smoking, they're taking a break or whatever it is, you're also going to get foot traffic here. So this is not a side of the warehouse you want to go to. And then we got some heavy aisles right here that are always selectors in. You guys got to start realizing what aisles are not congested. And that's my green aisle there. I should have did a couple of them. And because they're also, you got to remember directional arrows in the aisles. Sometimes warehouses frown upon you traveling the opposite direction in an aisle when you're supposed to be going this direction. So we come out of this aisle and we come down this aisle, and I'm going to come this way to get to that dock door because that is my quickest route because I want to stay away from the congestion. Also, if you guys like us have wrap machines on the front dock, what wrap machine is usually not congested? Usually the congested area has the most people waiting to get their stuff wrapped. So maybe it's worth coming over here, coming down this aisle, wrapping at this one, and then coming to here so you're not messing around on this side of the dock. That's important. And then I told you whenever I'm starting in the warehouse, so let's say my printer's right here. I pick up my labels. Let's say I'm starting right there. This is our cross out, but this is a heavy out. All right. So I know probably 90% of the day, there is a ton of people at the beginning of this aisle. So I'm already mapping out what's the slowest aisle. I'm going to go there. I'm going to cut through the cross out, and then I'm going to enter that aisle past the cross aisle, because if there's any congestion in the beginning of that aisle, it's not going to be me sitting in there waiting to get by everybody. So always pick the quickest route to get to the start of your order and to get to the dock door when you're done. Guys, one of the biggest one is being prepared. It is amazing how many times when I'm training or if I see people, my battery just died, I forgot wrap, I forgot tape, I forgot my case hook, and you see people jumping up to try to get the product off the second level. Guys, being prepared before your shift starts is so huge. Usually, companies give startup time. They should give startup time. And that's when you should be making sure that you got your case hook, you got your wrap, you got a good battery in your headset, for your T5 unit, whatever kind of vocalect or whatever you're using, or, your battery on your jack. You don't want to be grabbing a battery that's got like 18% or 30%. You want a nice charged up battery. So you want to make sure you do all that before you start. And dare I say cardboard, if you guys are cardboard users, get it before you start. So you at least have it to start your day and you're starting off at a good time. So being prepared, guys, and that it's so important. It really is, because once you're on that floor, so let's say I'm over selecting and I forgot my case hook and I'm already getting all these strip cases on the second level. Well, now you have to leave, go over, and usually warehouses don't give you delay time for that. They're not going to give you delay time because you forgot to grab a case hook at the beginning of the day. So that could be a problem. They could deny your delay time. So always be prepared before you start your shift. All right, guys, and this is the most important one, and that is being prepared mentally. This is something I know people do not think about, like this really wears you down. Guys, I said before, I've talked to people, you have nothing but to think in the warehouse. It is amazing how much your mind races. Even though you're selecting your cases and everything like that, it is amazing how much your mind races. You start thinking about the fight you had with your wife or your husband before you left the house. You start thinking about things that just all the negative things that are happening. You start thinking about your finances and stuff like that. One of the biggest things that always took my mind off of things was music. So if you guys are allowed to listen to music in the warehouse, I would 1000% do it. because it takes your mind off of everything else. You start focusing on the music and just getting in that rhythm. It always helped me get in the rhythm of working faster in the warehouse and smoother. Now, with the music, I always say two things. One, if you're a new selector, you should not be using music. You should not be using music until you're out of your probation weeks, because we got too much stuff to worry about with learning the process of the warehouse before we could start blasting music, because music obviously becomes a safety issue if you're not paying attention. Especially if you have the earbuds in. Our warehouse, they're not really too keen on any earbuds, but if you have one in, you better have one in and not two. Me personally, I always have my speaker on the jack and I like listening to my music. But guys, I am also very observant in the warehouse. Like when I got my music going, my head is on it. I'm always on a swivel. So every intersection, anytime that I'm selecting on one side of the jack and I haven't looked behind me in a while, I'm looking behind me to make sure no one's flying up beside me. I am constantly being aware in the warehouse, but being mentally prepared to select it's priceless. All right, guys, just a video I wanted to put out, something that you guys do not think about, and I think it's something that you guys need to start implementing on a daily basis. I'll see you guys next time. Have a great day.